Hello everyone. Today we will talk about one of the most important topics on the subject developing intercultural competence in teaching foreign languages. First of all, I want to draw your attention to this picture. What can you see in this picture? Yes, of course, there is a penguin which is totally different from other penguins. What does the next picture say? Right. The two people have misunderstanding in greeting styles. And the next picture, you are right. She is confused. What kind of teaching tool can be used in this picture? As you can see, today we will speak about culture shock in cross-cultural communication. Let's speak about objectives. What is a cultural shock? What factors can cause culture shock? How can I identify it? And what kind of stages does culture shock have? Firstly, we should identify the notion of culture shock. What is it? Culture shock is a personal disorientation a person may feel when experiencing an unfamiliar way of life due to immigration or visit to a new country and move between social environments or simply travel to another type of life, for example, the purpose of education. And there are some factors causing culture shock. Many factors can cause culture shock, such as status, race, ethnicity, religion, and consciousness. Knowing what is culture shock and the reasons behind it can help you be more prepared for culture shock. And there are types of factors causing culture shock. We can count them turn by turn. First, climate. Next, language. Next one is food. And fourth one is consciousness. And last one is different lifestyles. As you can see in this picture, there are some symptoms which help us to identify whether a person has culture shock or not. They are feeling homesick, depression and anxiety, disorientation, isolation, and loss of motivation. Now we will start to speak about culture shock stages. Many researchers have written about culture shock, and it's widely recognized that there are 4 different stages to the process: honeymoon, negotiation, adjustment stage, and also adaptation. Read to find out more about each stage. Now let's speak about each of the culture shock stages. This picture speaks about culture shock curve, which starts from honeymoon period and ends in adaptation. Next one is also about 4 stages of culture shock: honeymoon stage, anxiety stage, acceptance stage, and adaptation stage. But this picture speaks about 5 stages of culture shock: honeymoon stage, hostility and irritability stage, gradual adjustment stage, adaptation stage, and re-entry shock stage, which is not showed in other pictures. Sometimes instead of the word stage, you can meet the word phase or period. Number of stages and names of stages can vary according to the research of different scientists. Let's identify every element about different stages. First one is honeymoon stage, which is called also euphoric stage. This is a fun time. Everything is great, exciting, and new. You love the differences, meeting new people, testing new foods, seeing different architecture, doing new things, working in your new job, and so on. In short, you enjoy everything. This phase can last days, maybe weeks, or sometimes months. The next stage is negotiation stage, and sometimes it can be called anxiety stage or the honeymoon is over phase. During this phase, you're noticing differences, even slight differences, and typically not in a good way. You don't like people's attitudes, you have had enough of the food, and just want mom's home cooking. Life is sometimes too fast or too slow. Things are so much better at home. They maybe celebrate the wrong holidays, and so on. During this phase, a person often feels anxious, angry, sad, and irritable. Third stage is called acceptance stage, and sometimes you can need adjustment stage or the negotiation stage phase. Essentially, during this phase, you decide whether you will succumb to negativity or negotiate past it to make the most of your experience. If you're successful, you regain your sense of perspective, balance, and humor and move on to the next phase. Fourth stage, adaptation stage. And it can be called also the all's well stage or everything is okay phase. The fourth stage is the adaptation or adjustment stage. As you can see, the place is not unfamiliar anymore. And at this point, you might have learned so much about the place that you can be local guide. Now, you have gotten used to the new environment and you'll begin to like it more and more. This has developed a positive feeling toward the new place and started appreciating the new culture, different people, and things that make your new home so special. You are now ready to embrace the new culture and enjoy what it has to offer you. So last stage is called the re-entry shock, and sometimes it can be called also the reverse culture shock phase. And sure enough, this can happen with everybody. Once a person has become accustomed to the new things done in a different country, the person can go through the same series of culture shock phases when they return their own home. And I should mention that the global issue in culture shock is how can we deal with culture shock? That's why next time we will talk about how to overcome culture shock. Thank you for your attention. Goodbye for now.